Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for what it is our 10th anniversary celebration of TCCA, the Technology and Curriculum Conference of Aldine. We're excited to recognize attendees from literally all over the world who have registered to be with us today. My name is Juan Arrieta, and I'll be hosting this session along with my co host, Melissa Bishop. The title of this session is Blended Learning in Grades 3rd through 5th, and it will end at promptly at 2:50 so that we can then prepare for the next session. If you have any questions during the presentations, please enter them in the chat that is located to the right of your screen. And then towards the end of the session, I'm going to give the presenters a 10-minute warning to allow them to field any questions that you may have at that time and to wrap up the session. With that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce your presenters for this session. We have three. They are Jody Ball, Ms. Elisoliet Corsino. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce that. And Regina Readus. They join us from Fort Bend ISD. Ladies, thank you so much for presenting today. We're blessed to have you. The room is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I want to introduce myself. I'm Jody Ball. I'm from Fort Bend Independent School District. I teach 5th grade there, but I've taught, like all of the testing grades in elementary 3rd through 5th is my career. And I've been at this same school in Fort Bend ISD since I started teaching. And I'm very excited to present some of the things that I have acquired throughout my career. I'm very excited to share those with you. And now I have my co-presenters and my co-workers with me that I work with every day. My co-workers.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Miss Corsino. I'm a 3rd grade teacher
Readus,
at
and
A.
a
Jones.
little bit about myself. I've been working for individuals with disabilities my entire life. I started out my career. I graduated from Purdue University. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology there for 6 years, being a teacher, an administrator, and now I'm working at EA Jones. So, and I work with special needs kids.
We are having a little technical difficulties, Ms. Readus. It's hard for us to hear you. You're going in and out. Ms. Corsino?
Are you able to listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, I'm Miss Corsino. I'm a 3rd grade teacher at EA Jones in the district of Fort Bend ISD. I've been teaching for 16 years, mostly ELA, and I'm a bilingual teacher. I'm here because I love blended learning, and I've learned so much from Miss Ball, and I hope you enjoy the ride with us.
All right. Well, I'm so hoping that Miss Readus gets her equipment back in with us. But we're going to go ahead and get started.
Oh, I can hear you.
You can hear me? But we can't hear you, your mic.
Yes.
And I can hear myself in an echo. Okay, are we good? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Can you hear me now?
If you're looking at our classroom screen, to start off with, we wanted to do an icebreaker, or at least direct your attention to some of the icebreakers that we could use either online or face-to-face. And so if you look at Classroom Screen is a tool that it's free. It's on the web, and you can open it, and it has many tools at the bottom that you can use. Let me show you. Escape. So what I did was I started off with my box. I just launched classroom screen, and then I can. Where are my tools? Stop sharing. Oh, it's not popping up my tools at the bottom, but normally it would pop up a list of tools down here. Maybe because I'm on StreamYard sharing, it's not letting me share everything that's going on this screen. But there's a timer, there's all types of different tools, and maybe we'll get a chance to explore that later. But I'm going to get into my presentation. Ms. Corsino and Ms. Readus, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so to start off with, we've introduced ourselves, and you'll see these learning intentions and success criteria at the beginning of Fort Bend lessons, because Fort Bend is really big on making learning visible for all of our stakeholders.
Yes.
The learning intentions and success criteria give us kind of a focus for the lesson. The learning intention is what I want my students to learn. These come from the TEKS and the PLC discussions that we have as a team to plan. The success criteria is how I want students to obtain that success. So we co-construct these. My students and I will sit and we'll look in our interactive notebooks, which is our toolbox where we keep all of our skills. And we'll go in there and talk about what tools we can use to be successful with the lesson. So the top part of this slide, the learning intention, is what I want my students to learn. That normally comes from the TEKS. And then the bottom part, the success criteria, is how we're going to learn it. And so the children will make I can statements, like I can integrate tools into my daily lessons, like you're going to learn to do today. And I can set myself up for success by going through a rubric and looking at what steps I need to take to be successful. And so the students recall those tools and we kind of co-construct our success criteria. And sometimes, you know, they own it by coming up and putting their name on it if we're in a face-to-face environment. So that kind of gives them a kind of a framework for what we're going to be learning that day. And so what we're going to cover today are some tools for success, some internet tools. They're free, most of them. We'll look at some daily reading lessons, Ms. Corsino and I prepare because we're both reading teachers in an ELA environment. We're both ESL teachers. And Ms. Corsino is also a bilingual teacher. And so we look at, we have to structure those lessons in a way that all our kids can be successful, even in our online environments where we don't really have a lot of time. I think we have like a 45-minute block to teach reading and writing. And so we have to structure those lessons in a way that it's going to be easy for our kids to follow along and accomplish the goals that we're setting. And so we look at the, we're going to look at the goal setting process and some aggressive monitoring practices that's going to help us, our kids reach their potential. So let's get into exploring. Here is one of the tools that's the bomb tool. The snipping tool is great for snipping any item on your screen. It's a lifesaver when you're developing lessons because it allows you to snip whatever item you want to build the content of your lesson with. So I've taught my students to use this tool, this snipping tool. And so they use it to snip their work and virtually upload it. For instance, if we're in a social studies lesson and we're talking about how communities interact with their geographic location, the students snip the web images that they found and they drop them right in the chat. And then we can go comment on them, we can talk about them. They also use this tool to snip parts of their work. If they're creating things on the screen, they can snip parts of their work and upload it in Schoology to show evidence of their learning. And so the snipping tool is great. So we started off with the classroom screen. And if you look at my picture on the slide of the classroom screen, the toolbar that I was telling you about is at the top. And on the toolbar, there are many classroom management tools that you can use. Like there's a timer there where you can time your students. There's a noise level button. There's a you can switch it and tell the students, like right now we're in a small group, so you should be using your small group voice. There's a stoplight, a traffic light on screen. Or if it's on red, put your devices on red, class. No one can use your device right now. Or yellow, you should be on the assignment on your device that I'm directing you to do. Or green, you have free reign on your device. So there are many applications on Classroom Screen. That's great. I normally post Classroom Screen. If I'm in my virtual environment, it'll be up on the screen for the kids to have their do now, their little warm-up lessons on there, and their timer that lets them know when we're going to get started with class. In the face-to-face environment, I project it on the screen. And as the students come in and I'm doing my greetings at the door, I'm also dipping my head in the classroom telling the students to pay attention to the screen because their directions to get started are up there. And so this tool is very helpful in managing your class. So this is a good one. Okay, so now we're gonna let Miss Readus talk to us a little bit about some more tools that we use in our class, including Google Translator. Miss Readus?
Yes, the first one I want to talk about is the Google Translator. This is a really awesome tool to be able to communicate with students and parents because it's from other language. It's one of the translators that I really, really love. I used to have to go and cut and paste the text into the translator, but now they have it downloaded and it works with any of the apps you might be using. They call it the Tap to Translate. So at our school, we use a lot of different ways to contact Jab or Remind. All of these apps can be used with the Google Translator. And when you send a message to a parent, they speak a different language, they'll come back to you in English. It's really cool that you can send out messages to parents in their native language. It also will tell you how to say parent and in their language. Another thing that works with this one, and I really, really love the fact that it works offline. Technology wants to do what it wants to do, and sometimes it doesn't work. But this one works offline, and so it's a lifesaver for me. Were you able to hear?
Oh, Miss Readus, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you a little bit.
I will try to join you on my phone to see if that's better.
I think it might be like your speaker connection or something, like wiggle your cord or something. I think.
It's wireless.
Oh, okay. We get an interruption. Turn your mic off. Let me mute your mic. No, it's still doing it when you mute your mic, so it's not your mic.
Now,
Can I hear you? Now speak, Miss.
I can. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, so with Google Translator, this is like really awesome because it helps you communicate with our kids who are English language learners, and maybe they don't speak the language and you don't speak their language, but it will let you translate entire words and phrases and an entire web page if you needed to. You can speak to folks in over 100 different languages. So this one is like really awesome. there's been some upgrades to it recently. I used to have to go between apps and copy the text and then drop it into the translator. But now they have it just downloaded from the App Store, and it works with any of the apps that you may have. So with our families, we like to communicate using Remind or all you have. So as long as you have it downloaded on your
Ew, we're having some real interference.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties with the microphone and feed from Miss Readus.
Okay. So let me continue for her until she gets her.
That'd be great.
Okay, so what we were saying, what Ms. Readus was trying to explain about Google Translator is that it's just wonderful. It works. I actually have a student that is from China that I don't, and obviously I only know how to speak country, not Chinese. And so I go drop whatever I want to say into the Google Translator, and then it translates it into the Chinese language, and I drop it in the chat, or I can even cut and paste it and put it on my classroom screen and other places to help me communicate with my students. And so let's keep going. Some other tools that Ms. Readus wanted to tell us about before we had that interference were Padlet. Now on Padlet, and you may not be familiar with that, but if you're a new teacher, but all our old teachers are very familiar with Padlet. And Padlet is a way, we're going to see in a moment, that we can ask questions and we can get those responses back in real time. Like we can see exactly what the students are thinking as they're reporting it back on the Padlet. I also use Flipgrid a lot. Flipgrid is also a free tool. It's free right now. It actually gave all teachers a premium membership so that we could take our content of our lessons and take those questions and put them into a game for the kids to engage in. And the kids really love it. They look forward to Flipgrid Friday when they get a chance to get a green screen for answering those questions correctly. It also helps me to help get them prepared for testing and assessments that I may give them, so they're sharper on answering those questions on their test because they've seen it over and over on this Flipgrid game that we've been playing. And that helps them with retention and all of that. And so, and Kahoot is the name of the game that I was just telling you about. And so if you look here, I created a parking lot Padlet where we could answer some of our questions at the end. So if my host can drop this our link to this Padlet in the chat, you will be able to ask questions on the Padlet. And later on, I could go back and answer those for you. Okay, do I have Miss Corsino with me, or am I solo?
Yes, I am here.
All right, wonderful. So now Ms. Corsino is going to tell you about some lessons and things that we do in our classrooms.
Miss Ball, can you put the slideshow presentation? Because I think you have the notes.
Okay, let me see where I am. Stop screen share. Now I'm going to share my screen with my slideshow. You see it?
No. Oh, it's coming. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Just yeah, it was coming.
Okay, so here I was with my. Can you see it?
We are on slide 9.
That's your slide with your lessons on it.
I can.
Let me see.
I'm not able to see it. I don't know if our host
Oh, you're
can
in the
let us know if he sees it.
screen. Share screen. My entire screen share. Okay, now. Excuse us, participants. We're learning how to use this platform.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Okay, go up one more before. Yep. Okay, so here, guys, I will present some. Go to the next one. Yep,
Which one are
that's
you
it.
looking?
So I'm looking for the one with the lessons.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so here I'll present some of the examples of how Miss Ball, who is an online teacher, and I build our reading and writing lessons using these tools. And you will see, even though Miss Ball is an online teacher and I'm a face-to-face teacher, lessons look very similar. And that's is because of COVID-19 and the protocols that we have in place in our school. I still use digital tools on a daily basis with my students. First of all, you have noticed that we are using Google Slide and it's free. I just learned this from Miss Ball because I was using the PowerPoint, which is fine. But when she presented this to me, it was so cool that I had to play with it, and now I'm not going back. The cool thing about these Google Slides is that if you have PowerPoint's presentation already made, you can easily transfer to them to the Google Slide. You don't have to do anything or retype anything again. And it's available in your mobile app, your Windows, your Blackberries. I mean everything. You can also take pictures of it and share it. You can share it any way you want, privately or collaborate. Like Ms. Ball and I last year, we use some of these documents where we plan our lessons together, and she was on her end doing it, and I was feeling it on my end. So I just wanted to let you know that we are using Google Slide, and it's amazing to use this in the classroom, even though we have Miss Corsino's lesson. It's at the bottom, yellow and blue.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Miss Corsino reading lesson. Can you click on that?
I did, and it's
I don't
telling
know if
me
it's
I
gonna
need
be
exit.
able to. Oh,
So
it says I need that.
yeah. Okay, so let me share a lesson while she's giving me access to that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So here is a lesson that Ms. Val created. Again, we start with our learning intentions and success criteria.
Mm,
And then we were doing a story plot map. So I always use my snipping tool and snip a picture of what I expect. And then there's our book. So here's our text. We looked at the cover, we did our predictions and everything. And then we were talking about think marks that day. So our little reading skills are not even, they're just in our PowerPoints, but they're also in our interactive notebooks. So this is how we follow along in our interactive notebook. Snip the book and put the book in so that they can have a copy of the book to read. And then at the last slide, it tells them what they're going to do during their asynchronous time. It follows that same format every day, so it's really quick. and really quick and really simple to follow so that the kids can go back and access the information that they need to access. And so, what does it say? Request access, you are signed in. Ooh, because Miss Corsino has some outstanding lessons that I really wanted you to see. Um, Here's another one that I did. Learning intention success criteria again, that story plot map. And this one we were talking about annotating, and really looking at the parts of the map. And so then the kids had to do a Padlet where they had to go in and tell me about the parts of the story plot map. And then I could see in real time all of their responses right there. We had a discussion about that. And then they have their rubric where they see, like after they make a plan about how they're going to share their rubric, how they're going to share their story plot. And so Ms. Ball is looking for certain points like neatness and did you include an exposition and did you have all the parts to it and did you talk about the rise in action and where are you starting out on the rubric? When you first did it, where were you? And how are you going to move yourself over to seeds from this side? Where were you? Are you writing? I still have a lot of messy handwriting in 5th grade. So now I want to go back. Let me see if I have access. No. Okay, so Miss Corsino, what you do is you go in that Google slide and you know how you share it? And you give access to anyone who has the link. But I don't even know if Miss Corsino's here anymore. But Miss Ball is going to continue. So really, just telling you about all of those great short lessons that you can create using a Google slide. So we did a lot of I do my lessons like every day. After I finish this lesson, this is a week's worth of lessons. On Monday, we introduce the book. And then we go through that same lesson cycle over and over every day. We do reading on the right. Reading is on the left side, and writing is on the right side. Miss Rita says she's behind there.
Here.
Okay, there's Miss Corsino, but Miss Rita says she's somewhere, but I don't know where. Oh, there she is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, there she
I
is.
reload reload
You
your
reloaded it?
document because it says it's shared with two people. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me go to my email and see. Hmm, I don't see it. Oh, where's something? I don't see it. Junk mail.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Okay, can you all see it? Let me see.
Yes. Okay. So you can put the presenters, I mean the presentation. Okay, so you will see how similar Miss Ball and Miss Corsino's lesson are. I just had this in a PowerPoint and transferred them to Google Slide when I saw Miss Ball using Google Slides. So it's that easy. Um, you can yeah, that's our learning intention. Keep going to the word work. If you see the word work, that's our one of our components for reading, and it's so important for our English learners. If you go to your word work icon, Miss Ball, I have inserted a magnetic letter tool. And this is so cool because if you go down, Miss Ball, you will see magnetic letters, but they are virtual. And it's good for phonics, especially with the students or beginner readers that you're trying to teach them the patterns in words and vowels. So that's a great tool for them to be able, like right there and then, you don't have to do anything. You just go there and practice with them. You can have them spell words. So yeah, great tool. So you can go back, Miss Ball. Another part of
Okay.
our work, I use a lot of fryer model. um yeah, in the fryer model, if you click on the harvest word, it's the Merriam-Webster, it's attached to it. So when they go in there, they're able to hear the pronunciation, because as you can tell, I have a hard accent, strong accent, and sometimes it's, better for them to be exposed to that kind of pronunciation. And also, by being able to click on that link for Merriam-Webster, they'll also be able to tell me some of non-examples. If you see, the lower right square is empty, because I would like for them to be able to tell me some of non-examples, opposites of the word harvest. You can go, you can click enter, Miss Ball. And that's our read aloud, just like Miss Ball does. I put a link on it. I have, because I'm face to face, I have that book with me and they're able to see it. But this presentation is also located in their Schoology course. So when they are at home, they can easily access that book with the YouTube link. You can click, yeah. And that's our anchor chart. That anchor chart, it's also linked to a brain pop video, where if I see that they didn't remember, because I mean, this is like our second week in the reading, in the fiction unit. But if I
Right.
see that they get stuck on the plot chart, on the plot map, that picture right there, it's linked to a brain pop video. And they, again, they can use it at home, or we can watch it together in class. um you can
Oh
click
well.
and oh.
I mean, I'm trying to go back to it. Ooh, I got so much stuff open.
I know, me
Okay, over
too.
here, over here. Okay.
Okay, so you can click enter. And well, that's our we do together. I mean, that's my I do. I fill that out and they see it. You can click enter and you they will see the finished exemplar, and then click enter once more. This is the part that I would like for you to guys to see, because Miss Ball was talking about Flipgrid and Padlet. These we do, it's a really cool thing to do with them. And now, especially, like Miss Ball is online, but I am face to face, still we need to follow that protocol of 6 feet distance. So before the pandemic, we used to go and think per share, we collaborate, they got up, they gathered together, but now they need to stay in their seats. um and what I use Flipgrid, or I use Padlet. And it's a good way because they meet there at the same time. At least with Padlet they do. You can click on the Flipgrid link, Miss Ball, and here you will see just an example of an activity. You can go down and you will see their videos posted.
Oh,
Yes, and one of the good features about Flipgrid is that they can like the video. You can have so many options. They can even comment on their video. They can even record another video to give feedback. We use in Forbean ISD, we use the glows and grows, and we have that form with my students, and they are able to give constructive feedback. Um, and also Padlet, you can click on the Padlet link, and it will take you to our activity for a plot. So right there, I like that one because it's live and they are seeing all the answers from the students. Now you can go back to our PowerPoint and go click enter. So that's our asynchronous lesson. In Forbean ISD, we're even though we're face to face, we're trying to use as much as technology as we can. We never know, and I encourage you to do so. Here, if you click on that picture, Miss Ball, it will take you straight to the lesson. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because yeah, you're not in my course. But anyways, when they click on there, oh, There
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
there it is.
Yeah, I put the learning intentions, the anchor charts again. Um, then they have the exemplar as well, and then they have the instructions. They have resources that they can go, like in my own Epic, and they have um the document that they can download, they can save it, and they can upload it at home. They can take a picture and upload it. So it's the full cycle, but it's digital. And like I said, I'm right there face to face. And as you can see, Miss Ball's lesson and I are very similar, even though we're in two different teaching settings.
Very nice, very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see, Miss Corsino right now. Miss Corsino teaches third grade, and Miss Ball, I teach fifth grade. And our lessons are very aligned. Right now, fifth grade is also working on plot elements in fiction. Okay, so now I want to go back to our. Okay, so thank you, Miss Corsino, for sharing.
So,
And so right here is Miss Ball's bonus Bitmoji classroom. And so I want to go to the classroom. And it's actually a Google slide that I created. And what we did was the same thing that Miss Corsino and I and Miss Readus, we all put into our lessons. What I did was I put it in the classroom. And so what I did was, just pull some transparent pictures from the internet, and I set them up on a Google slide. And then I linked everything that I wanted to do in the lesson to something in the classroom. So this was a lesson of a context clues. Here's the learning intention and the success criteria. And then here's the rubric. If you click on it, it'll take you actually to our rubric, which is a website where you can get many rubrics. And here is the rubric over context clues, so the kids can move themselves up and down the rubric. And then if you go back to the classroom and you click on the clipboard, it'll take you to a lesson on context clues. Oh no, it took me back to my Bitmoji classroom. Where's my classroom? Okay, so if I click on this clipboard, it'll take me to a lesson on context clues, a shared document where they can type their answers right in here and upload it. If you click on the Schoology book or Schoology icon, it'll take them to Schoology. This is a read aloud on YouTube, the lightning thief. I'm not going to click on everything because it's taking up time to go back and forth. If they click on this games console, it's some games about context clues. If they click on me, I'm telling a lesson, a video recorded lesson on context clues. And if they click on the Daily Five is they're gonna read about it, write about it, talk about it, and do an activity over it. So you could set up your virtual classroom where you allow the students to go in and click on different things in order to accomplish their goals. I also put a link to the school cafe at the lunchbox. So if they were having an issue trying to get to their school lunch account, they can click on the lunchbox. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to where's my presentation with all this stuff open. All right, here we are. So we're gonna get into the last part of our presentation today. The last part of our presentation is making learning visible for our students and everything. So goal setting is a huge part of their process. And I found it valuable to the students as well as in my own life. In the classroom, we utilize rubrics that help to move our students through a progression. Along the way, we talk about the goals and processes that it will take to accomplish them. So we may have to tweak them along the way, but don't forget to stop for little celebrations along the way. And also make sure you're celebrating achievements, but make sure you're celebrating failures as well, because They are helping you to learn the route to success. The failures are what help us correct and learn. So now we're going to have Miss Readus and Miss Corsino talk about how this goal setting is evident in our classrooms. Miss Corsino?
And I think as a teacher, any teacher, um, we should have a goal setting for our students and for ourselves. So here we would like for you to take a moment to look at the rubric and identify where you are. So you're going to look at a rubric that means goal is going to show in a little bit. And you're going to identify yourself in that rubric. We all want to be at the highest level, so our plan is to work through the rubric to get there and further. And you're going to identify 3 action steps that you will take to accomplish your goal. Remember that you may have revamped them in the cycle. So what you're basically doing is what you would like the students to do when you have a goal for them or when they have a goal for themselves. So one of the things that Ms. Ball is share with us with the rubric, which is an amazing tool for you to see where they are, is that iRubric has a lot of free rubrics that you can use and you can modify. And also there is I don't know, there's a star rubric as well, but there are a thousand, I don't know, a few of tools that you can use for free and that you can build. And also they have templates already for you to use that you can modify. So right now, let's see where we fall on this technology rubric. And we would like for you to type 3 steps that you will take to reach exceeds on the rubric in any row you choose. So you choose a row and you are going to jot down 3 steps that you will take to reach the exceed part. And just focus on the basic operation row and make a comment about how students use the basic keyboard.
So do you know, you ladies and gentlemen, how we want these kids to be able to produce all of this work, and we want them to be able to use these tools and to make their learning visible through the use of these tools. And so but the problem is, the basic problem is that they don't have keyboarding skills. They can't even really type and put their hands on the keyboard and type fast enough to keep up with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so a goal that you might want to set with your students is, if you're looking at the rubric, that basic operations goal. Like my basic operation, do I even know the where my fingers go on the keypad? And then if so, can I use that knowledge to execute like a how many words per minute? So you may want to have like a little talk to them about that, and then even showing them how they can move themselves up the rubric. Like, let's make a plan. How are you going to start? What are you going to practice to get there, and how long are you going to practice it each day, and when are we going to check back in so that we can make sure that you're accomplishing that goal, and things like that. And so that really helps them to own their own learning and to be able to direct their own learning. And so if you look back at this worksheet Ms. Corsino has placed in here for us, it's just a blank week worksheet where you can kind of create your own rubric, and showing you some ways that you can create your own rubrics. But if you are familiar with Schoology, when you go to create an assignment, you can also attach a rubric to that assignment for grading. And you can create it to be whatever, put anything in it that you want as your progressions in the rubric. So goal setting, Ms. Corsino. We already did that. Okay, next. Did that. So you know that old saying that if you plan to fail, you plan to. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is so true. when you are building up your students. You're going to have to spend some time planning and figuring out, how you're going to reach them the way that they need it. And so since all of our end is student success, then planning should happen in a cycle of learning on a daily basis. So you have short-term goals that lead to accomplishing these long-term goals that you are trying to reach. It's like chunking, which is a valuable tool when you're trying to acquire and retain information. So take a look at these quotes from
Hey,
Deakin University.
Jody, sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you know that we're 5 minutes away from the end of the time that we have.
Okay, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop right there, and let's ask some questions because I just want you to remember that feedback is important for your students. So make sure that you are giving them constructive feedback even when they're failing. And then some aggressive monitoring practices that I didn't actually get into, but aggressive monitoring also helps you to give some great feedback to your students. So that's something that you can look up and dive into. And so if we have any questions now, we would like to answer those.
I think more than a question, I think that there were a couple of people that, if you go back to that rubric that you were showing, the slide that I think might have been slide 15 or 16, and if you can maximize that screen, because there were a couple of people that commented that they couldn't see it because it was, there you go.
Is that better?
Or maybe if there's a way to send that. There you go. I think that, yeah.
It's kind of blurry because I use my snipping tool and I snipped it and put it in there. But if you go to, I can kind of see the basic operations slide, and I think that they were looking at how, we started off at not meeting the criteria, not using the mouse correctly, and then they progressed up to seeds when they could do everything correctly. But if you need a closer picture of any kind of rubrics, I got this from iRubric. And it's a free online.
Do you have a link to that you could perhaps throw on the chat box for us to share?
Okay. Let me see. I'll put a link to it in.
Perfect.
Yes, and
on the comments, not
Ms. Ball, you can also show our
comments.
email address. So if
The
you have
end.
any questions.
Why can't I get in the chat and put something in there? There it is. Okay.
You can. You just go, instead of the private chat, go to the comments box.
Comments. Okay. But I see you dropped it in there for me. So
yeah.
Okay. And let me show my last screen.
You can copy.
No, not that one.
Our email.
Yeah, our email screen.
Put them in the chat as well.
Drop them in the chat. Jody, you didn't finish that last slide with your email address on it. Type in the chat, Miss Corsino. That would be it. I want to thank everyone for coming to our session today. I'm so happy that I was able to share some of my information with you. And if you need anything, if you want us to give you a recap, or if you need some of this information, you want us to send it to you, just drop us an email. We're at Fort Bend,
I just want to let everyone know that if you see our emails, please feel free.
Feel free to contact us.
Yeah, well, ladies, thank you so much, for all of the time and preparation that you took to share your, experiences with these tools and in the classroom for us. And attendees, one reminder that the secret word that you're going to need to be able to open up and print your certificate of attendance for this session is scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now on the feed. And please note that it is case
Yep.
sensitive. So uppercase on that E on uh, on the interface when it's asking you to enter the password. You're going to receive an email with the link to that certificate. Our next session begins in 10 minutes, so we're ending it right here. Thank you so much for joining us. And ladies, once again, from Fort Bend ISD, thank you so much for presenting for us in this session.
You're welcome. Thank you. We enjoyed it.
Great rest of the afternoon.
Bye-bye.